Good morning. Good morning. All right. We're getting the show on the road, hitting live in all the places. So as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. And I know there are a lot of times that people show up and they don't want to be on screen. They don't want any of that. And that's perfectly okay. But I would love to have you pop in and say hello and be part of the conversation. All right. So now let me get this pulled up on my phone. Well, where did it go? There we are. Show up and they don't want to be on screen. All right. Cool. Well, hello, Wendy. Good to see you here. Good morning. Good morning. And I got my Christmas mug up, and I still can't believe this is the week of Christmas. I mean, has it been as quick for you as it has been for me? I mean, it feels like we just had Thanksgiving and now here we are at Christmas. I still got shopping to do. I've got things to buy to cook. I mean, it's like, what the heck? All right. And let me go ahead and I'm just going to get right to it this morning. Waste no time. Hold on. All right. And today's affirmation came from the fact that a lot of times we question where we are in our journey, right? And we've a lot of the affirmations and journal prompts that we've done have been about the similar thing, because that's a big deal for most of us, right? I know many times I've said, wow, I've started here, I should be over here by now, right? And a lot of people do that in relationships. Oh, I'm this age, I should already have this by now. We do it in a lot of things. We look at where we are and we think that's not enough, right? So, our affirmation for today is: today I acknowledge that I am exactly where I am meant to be. I trust the timing of my journey and embrace this moment fully. So, how does that feel, Wendy? Have any thoughts on that? And hello over on Instagram. I'd love to know your thoughts too. Today, I acknowledge that I am exactly where I'm meant to be. I trust the timing of my journey and embrace this moment fully. Let's see. I can't see that far over there. You needed this. Oh, good, Wendy. You know, there are so many times I question, am I where I'm supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing different to get there faster and that kind of thing, right? And sometimes I have to reel myself back in and recognize that, there must be one other thing that I need to learn or something else. Maybe that's not even the right path. I don't know. And that it's okay to acknowledge that where we are right now is beautiful. It's perfect. And that the timing is not ours anyway, right? Yeah, I get that. Feel like I'm behind right now, want to be where everybody else is. Yeah, yeah. But I'll tell you, no matter where you are in your journey, you can have that exact same feeling. Because no matter where you are, even if you get to the place where that person is that you're wanting to be where they are, there's going to be somebody else that's gone further on that journey, and you're going to feel the same way. So it's getting to this space within you that if you can see it and dream about it, it's yours. And it's okay that you're not there yet. Good morning, Nicole. So everybody feels that at some point, right? And it's okay. It is perfectly okay. It is perfectly normal. So if that's how you're feeling, you're doing exactly the way you're supposed to be. You are exactly where you're meant to be. And I've shared with you guys before that I used to get that feeling a lot. And at that time I didn't even know how to move forward. I just knew I really wanted to, right? And I remember, and I've shared this with you guys before, but it's been a while, but I had a friend that her brother and sister-in-law, they didn't have hardly anything. And they didn't seem to aspire to anything else. And I can't say that they were happy. I mean, who knows? But the thing is, there were a few times that I envied them because they seemed to be okay with nothing. And that wasn't me. And I was always looking for how can I have more, be more, do more. And it felt sometimes like I was on this hamster wheel and I was just running and running and running and running, and everybody else was making it and I wasn't. And then I would see these people over here that didn't even seem to aspire to do anything any different. And I envied them in a way. And I even said to myself, I wish I could be okay with staying just right here and not even wanting to do more, but I can't. And it took me a while to get to the place that I recognized that that was a good thing. I too want to be further along. So today I'm further along when I compare myself from yesterday. Yes, beautiful. I love that, Nicole. And that is true. And I've talked about my uncle who was, he was a millionaire when he passed. And he was my mentor. He was the person that I went to all the time to talk about business and to just talk about life and things. And he used to always say, you're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with yourself. And he had a chain of salons, and then he had a really big salon. And and I thought, wow, he's done so much. And he said that what happens to a lot of people, and this is where a lot of us may be, is that they compare, like he was talking about the salon industry, but you could use that as people, right? Is that they would look at the salon down the street and they would say, oh, they're doing this. Maybe I need to do that so that I can do what they do, right? But he said, that's not how you do this. He said, what you do is you figure out what the people in your area want and need, and you do that. You're not competing with anybody else. You're competing with, can I get better today than I was yesterday? Can I get better tomorrow? And that's what the journey was. It wasn't for those outer things. It was, can I get better today so that I can serve my clients? I can listen better. I can, right? And I remember the first time he told me that, I thought, well, that's all well and good because you've got all that money, right? But that wasn't the truth. The truth was he had all that money because that was his attitude. That was how he felt, right? Being mindful. Yes, Wendy, definitely. And so wherever you are on your journey is exactly where you need to be, exactly where you're meant to be. And then, like Nicole said, I say all the time, there's the only thing constant in life is change. We change constantly. So when you change today, That becomes your new normal. And then you change the next day and that becomes your new normal. And the thing to look at is, did I change in a direction that I wanted to go? Right? Or did I just sit by and let the tides of the water take me somewhere else? Am I better today than I was yesterday? Do I feel a little more aligned today than I was yesterday? And if not, that's okay. It's a process, right? And everybody's process is unique, just like fingerprints. And even if one day you feel you are going backwards, reframe it. Why is the universe asking me to step backwards? Yeah, definitely true. The thing is that we only compare ourselves to ourselves and we keep going, right? And one of the reasons why I always ask you when you're doing the affirmations and the journal prompts is to put the date and the affirmation in the journal prompt and just fill out all the things, right? Is so that you can look back, because a lot of times we lose sight of where we've been and how far we've come. And so this is a great measuring stick to be able to look at even the journaling you did 2 days ago. Does it look like you moved, even if it's a little tiny bit? Because remember, a 1% change every single day creates exponential growth. Just be open to, it's perfect right now, being in the now, breathing in the perfection of whatever is going on. And like I say all the time, sometimes our most amazing opportunities show up as obstacles first. So if you have an obstacle going on, good morning, Carmen. If you have an obstacle going on right now, how does that serve you to move? How does that help you get clarity on what you want, clarity on what you don't want? Maybe it's to give you empathy for someone you didn't have empathy for before. I've had that happen to me. It was like, crap. Now I understand what they were talking about. I didn't understand then. So whatever it is, it's there for a purpose. It's there to help and guide you. We talk a lot about, people that want to be instant millionaires or instant fame. Nobody really can handle that. Some of the most amazing artists that things happen too quick give up and walk away from things because they just can't handle the things that come with it, right? Every piece of your journey comes with something, and you have to gather the strength and the knowledge and the fortitude to be able to handle whatever those things are. You have to grow into the place you want to be. Because I know where I am right now, if I had been a year ago, if I had been dropped in, boop, right here, I wouldn't have been able to handle it at all. The time involved, the having to constantly be looking at things and sending out the emails and doing all the things that I do right now in the space that I'm at, I would not have been able to do it because I didn't know how. And I probably would have felt like there's not enough time in the day. And I would have been very discouraged and I would have given up. So there's a process you go through as you're learning and growing. And right now, wherever you are is perfect. I like that you have to grow into the place you want to be. Yes. Yes. And we can, remember, I don't know if you remember or if you got to see the replay from yesterday, as I gave everybody a 72-hour challenge of only looking at where you want to be and looking at every part of the journey is perfect, right? If you didn't get that, go back and watch yesterday's affirmation and journal prompt, because I talked about it and I gave you the 72-hour challenge just to see, like I said, 72 hours pass regardless. And it just gives you an opportunity to play a little bit with this game of life, right? When it's not a dire thing. A lot of times we don't really start trying to make changes until it becomes so dire that we're desperate for whatever it is, whether it's health, relationships, money, whatever, right? Been there, done that, right? So today, acknowledge that you are exactly where you're meant to be. This moment right here is the learning piece that you need for this moment. And I trust the timing of my journey and embrace this moment fully, completely, knowing that I am exactly where I'm meant to be. And just feel into that, right? And I'm going to share today's journal prompt. And this one, I tried to make it a little bit shorter, but hell, I didn't do it. So let me delete that. Let me see. It's probably going to break up, but we'll see how much. Yeah, the last sentence is missing, but that's okay. You know, I'll do the thing where I go back and put it in the description so that you have it all together. So today's journal prompt is, what if, even for a moment, you pretend that you're exactly where you're meant to be? Because, you know, this can be a stretch for some people. It's like, no, I'm not meant to be here. I'm meant to be there. And so I kind of wanted to do this morning for people who maybe that is too big a stretch, right? So you can always pretend. You can pretend like when you were a little girl, a little boy, when you were young, when you could pick up a little stuffed animal and it was real and all of that. You could pretend. We can imagine, right? So what if you pretend or you imagine that you're exactly where you're meant to be? That this is exactly where you're meant to be. Now, we kind of want to put a little spin on this one. So this vision that you're dreaming of, right? The place that you think you want to be, the thing that you think you want to do, where you want to be, and this doesn't seem like enough. Well, let's just pretend that we're there for a moment. That's exactly where we're meant to be. And we're there now. Maybe try that. Try that one on for size and see how that feels. Write down how that might feel. What would you think would be some of the little life lessons that you would need to actually be there? See, it's hard to imagine what those life lessons are because we haven't had them yet. But sometimes we can almost feel like, well, this might happen. I don't know. Just play with it. But for right now, let's just imagine that this is exactly where we're supposed to be in this moment. Well, I really feel like it is, right? And then write down how that might feel, what lessons this moment, whatever you're going through, what is the lesson that it's teaching you? And how it could actually be something setting you up for something amazing. Because remember, we've talked about, let's see, is there something else there that I didn't see? So the thing is like, it's like if you had if you were in a maze, and I've used this analogy before, if you were in a maze and you knew you had at the other end of the maze was this life thing that you're wanting so bad. And right now you're at a certain place in the maze. and you had a drone up above, and the drone could say, "Oh, okay, I get it. You need to go up and you need to take a right, and then you need to do that." Well, somebody in the drone, seeing it in the drone, could tell you exactly where to go, right? But in some ways, hitting the little roadblocks in there, the little dead ends, and having to turn around and go back, that has a lesson in it. That has a teaching moment in it that helps you be stronger, helps you your cognitive abilities to be able to puzzle solve, right? Or to solve puzzles, whichever way you put it. So, and like I said earlier, that if a year ago I had just been picked up and dropped into this space where I'm at right now today, I wouldn't have been able to handle it because I wouldn't have had all the lessons that I've had over the past year to know how to do what I do now, right? So, how what are the lessons that this moment that you're in right now, oh, like our, what does that say? Like our rumba. Not to be so hard on myself, could achieve more if I accepted where I am right now. Life changes slowly, step by step, and then all of a sudden life changes with gifts and growths and lessons. It pumps into walls again and again, and it reprograms itself on its map. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the thing is that a lot of people that we aspire to be like, they weren't overnight successes. It just seemed that way because they did all the stuff like we're doing right now. We're looking at where we're at and we're getting the grace of being there and being grateful that we're there right now and all the learnings that come from it, right? And then there's going to be a time that you are going to be the person that everybody else thinks was an overnight success. It's not that, it doesn't work that way, but there are a few people that it just seems to just pop like that, but they, most of the time, they can't sustain it. Like I mentioned, the people who win the lottery, 80%, hold on, I'm getting a call. Is it 80%? May even be a greater percent. 80 or 90% of the people who win the lottery within 2 to 5 years, and usually it's 2, lose every bit of it. And they're in a worse shape than they were before because it was just boop right there and they didn't know how to handle it. So give yourself this place where you say, the grace of being where I am right now so that I can grow into being that. Whoa. Thank you, thank you, thank you, right? Does that make sense? So, just acknowledging that you're in the perfect place for your journey changes everything. And the only person you compare yourself to is who you were yesterday, who you were last week, last month, last year. That's who you want to keep growing as you. Yes, yes. Thank you, Nicole. All right, so I'm going to go back to our affirmation. And remember, we put that on our sticky note, the index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it somewhere that you're going to see it. Today, I acknowledge that I am exactly where I'm meant to be. I trust the timing of my journey and embrace this moment fully. Thank you, Wendy. And then back to our affirmation. And remember, the way I love to have you do it, I just suggest you don't have to do a doggone thing I say. So I suggest that you have a notebook or a journal that you use for these affirmations and journal prompts. And you put the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. And then you take 10 minutes in total silence. Just silence. to really get in touch with your inner voice, your God voice. And just as soon as the timer goes off, then you get your pen out, your pencil out, and you just write down everything that comes to mind. And you don't judge it, you just write it. I mean, list out whatever, how you might feel, what the lessons are that this moment that's teaching you. And you could even be still having a moment about something that's happened last week or last month. I don't know. The thing is, wherever you are right now, there is some beautiful, beautiful information that you can pull out of it to help you to learn, to grow, and be exactly who you want to be. It starts there, right? So write down how you might feel, what lessons this moment could be teaching you, and how it could actually be setting you up for something amazing. All right, guys. So I'm ready to go get my breakfast. I was running a little late with all my things this morning. It seems like it took longer to take the dog for the walk this morning because it was so cold and everything. But before I go, I want to remind you that tomorrow is Monday. Our live is going to be at 2:00 Eastern, and actually it's going to be a special guest, and it's Michelle McCowan Campbell, and she's going to be talking about how you can be more awesome than you are right now. And there is an event in the events section, and I pinned it this morning so that you can go in there and make sure, if you have not signed up to be there, please, please, please be there, because it is going to be amazing. Thank you, Nicole. I'm glad you were here as well. And then let's see. And yes, Sandra, it is a daily mindset shift. It is. Thank you for saying that. All right. And so if you're here watching us live, amazing, beautiful. Thank you for being here, and on Instagram as well. And then if you're watching the replay, put #replay. But I would love for more of you to be signed up to go to the event tomorrow that Michelle is graciously giving her time to share with you guys. And she is amazing. What does that say? Matt says hi. Well, hello, Matt. All right, guys. It has been a wonderful morning. And I will say, have a beautiful day, seeing how it's perfect just as it is. And I will see you tomorrow at 2:00. Mwah.